Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where between the previous game and the one ahead of us, we had 3 of our newest faces in the league take to the stage. That is, of course, Jenkins, Danny, and King yet to play here. And so I did want to take a moment, stop down before we talk specifically about Cloud9 CLG in a matchup perspective, to really evaluate 3 of these players and how they performed so far. So let's start with the 2 that we just saw.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with Jenkins because from the games that we've seen, I think his debut was great off of the gangplank, right? A lot of it was pretty centralized around his lead. And the previous game that we just saw, I think we saw a few mistakes in terms of coordination and in terms of like taking an added risk around Dragon. So we saw the whole Dragon aspect of it. So there are going to be parts about the game, super late game, that obviously there are going to be mistakes being made from all parties. But I like what I'm seeing from Jenkins so far.
And I mean, on the opposite side, you have Danny, who I think we've talked about him being kind of a bright spot for this team, even in some of their losses, and how close some of those losses were. I think the 2 things I like the most about him, something that Jizuke just pointed out in the interview, where he said, you know, he kept a cool head. He made sure he didn't die. He knew he was scaling. Again, this new Ezreal build is just so tanky late game, and he's been going to be doing a ton of damage.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I also appreciate that he's willing to go in. We've seen him on other champions. I personally love his Samira. I think it's still really, really good. So he's also willing to posture and play very aggressively, and I always really, really appreciate that, especially from an amateur player coming up into the LCS.
I'm going to turn to King in just a moment, but before we do, I want to understand a little bit about what we might expect from young players like this in order to call a first split in the LCS a success. So, Kaizen, what are your thoughts there when you look at players like Danny? You look at a player like Jenkins who's stepping into big shoes. What would success actually look like 18 games down the line?
Yeah, so I think, you know, for some of these players, they're replacing, you know, the best players in the league, right? When we look at Alfari. So I don't expect him to be top-gapping 20 CS up in lane, but I expect him to, at minimum, not be a liability, and on his specific picks, to be a threat, right? And I think that's what we've seen from Jenkins on the GP. I think that's what we've seen from Danny, you know, just in this last game on the Ezreal. And I think we've seen it to a similar extent from King. So, you know, these are guys who need time to grow and they need support from their team. But overall, I think if they can just go even and sometimes be a threat on niche picks, that's awesome.
And evidence of development, like you basically said, right? Need time to grow, but be able to show that growth week to week. So for players, like you've mentioned, who are taking places of the best in the region, you need to be able to show that you're getting closer and closer to that.
Right, and if Jenkins is replacing one of the best in the top lane in Alfari, you look at King, he's replacing one of the best in the bot lane in Sven. So now let's refocus with that matchup at hand here against CLG on King, his performance so far, Kai.
Yeah, he's already given a great account of himself. I mean, here we see the last game, you know, fight of the game versus TL. And, you know, normally when you have someone who is newer to a roster, you expect them to be a little bit more reserved. You know, they're thinking about their reputation. They're not necessarily on the same page. But here, boom, he gets an opportunity to dive in the back. He's like, all right, we're going to end the game right now. And that's the kind of confidence I love to see from King. At the end of the day, Sven was one of the best AD carries in the league. So I expect it's going to take time for him to build synergy with Vulcan. But what you like to see is that he already has a confidence in team fights to go in the moments he needs to.
Emily, you know what else you like to see when you got a young guy on the stage? You like to see the remaining members and the veterans of the team absolutely popping off, referencing, of course, Perch's performance yesterday on LeBlanc. That's got to give you some breathing room and a little bit of a feeling of looseness as a young guy out there on the Rift.
Yeah, so I keep reiterating this, but mid lane Shampoo wide open. You know who the perfect player to have on your team for that is? It is Perks. He plays so many different things. This LeBlanc pick was specifically in response to the Soraka. It's just, I mean, just watch the highlights, honestly. He made the most of, yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen one of those in a while.
It was insane. Like, it was incredible to watch. And to your point, like, if you just have veterans across the board all performing, then that makes it easier for you. But I still see that level of aggression. Even in their loss last week, I saw that playmaking from King. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, I love, too, the fact that Perks tweeted out at the beginning of today, will it be an 07 or a 7-0 day? Because he has already had such a polarizing couple showings out there on the LCS stage. But I have a feeling, based on yesterday's performance, that he is about to be ramping up. It's time now for the game to kick off, so we're going to hand it back over to the casters to watch C9 versus CLG.
Thank you very much, Dash. Kobe, this should be a fun one if it's anything like the Cloud9 of yesterday.
It certainly should be. I mean, yesterday, the speed run, that was fun for Cloud9. That's definitely not fun to be on the receiving end. And I know that CLG right now, them getting a win yesterday was really big, and they're trying to build on some momentum. So we'll have to see if they can actually stand up, to the juggernaut that seems to have reformed here quite quickly.
Yeah, extra week of practice doing pretty well. But before we get into all the action, we are teaming up with the White House to spread awareness around COVID-19 vaccinations. Getting vaccinated is the quickest way for us to all get back to normal. And if you are in the US, the vaccine is free and available to everyone. And it's not just us either. Cloud9 is teaming up too, Kobe.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for when everything gets back to normal, like once everyone gets vaccinated and like it's just like everyone's safe, like we can just get back to normal events. Like I can finally just go out with my friends. I can even go back home to Australia freely, It's like I just want this time to pass.
To get information about vaccines or sign up to get your vaccines, go to vaccine.gov or text your zip code to 438829.
So it's like if it was just like take a look at these dragon fights that these evil geniuses. We successfully do this.
I hear you in my ear.
Yeah, Kobe King feeling pretty happy. Giggling to himself over there. Which makes sense, again, given how well they played yesterday.
Yeah, they're excited to get into it again. Perks himself right there. You, the analyst, as talking about it. But it's so funny because we are right after, returning from MSI, and there are all these, memes tweeting out after week 1, Cloud9 returning and losing their first 2 games, one of which to the Golden Guardians, one of the bottom ranked teams in the LCS. Definitely was a shocker for a lot of people. But C9 not rolling or not dwelling on those losses at all, picking right up where they left off, kind of embracing this pace. And that's what I want to look at is the pace of the new meta. There are so many options right now, especially in the solo lanes, but I think as well with your team dynamic. In so many different strategies you can actually try and utilize. So I want to see if Cloud9, continue along this exact same path, and if CLG actually will be able to create some sort of momentum here. If they could actually upset Cloud9, it would be huge for their mentality.
See, it's funny because I thought you were going to do the other angle where it's like, just coming off the last game we had, we'll see how exciting this game could be. Cloud9 certainly, we'll see. It could be yet another banger game. But Cloud9, again, definitely feeling in form. CLG, the underdogs, but certainly a team that can be a threat. I think that's true in general in the league as the bans are done. Lucian, Varus, Renekton, Rumble, Udyr, and Senna.
See, that's the interesting thing for this big ban is double banning jungle from CLG on red side here, trying to ban away the Rumble and the Udyr from Blabber. To me, Blabber is one of the ones that will benefit the most if you dwindle this champion pool down past some of the primary ones that are used right now. Blabber's got lots of options. Once you take these off the table, things like the Kindred start to pop into your mind. There's definitely a lot here. Gwen is left up again. CLG, while they did get their first win previously with the Gwen pick there for Finn, he has not really done that well against it either. So happy to see what he's going to be able to pull out against Fudge this time around. Lee Sin is a very high probability that it is up there. And top laners have received they've been under a lot of scrutiny for their Lee Sin play. Definitely from me as well, as there's so many junglers with years and years on this champion, trying to look, do you see the actual angles? Are you getting the correct kicks here for your team fights, but as well for the lane phase. Blabber actually doesn't have to go too far down the tier list. He loves ganking junglers. Xin Zhao will fit right in his wheelhouse.
And perhaps Karma as well, obviously flexible on the solo lanes here. Both Gwen and Karma can kind of fit anywhere. Also, Karma can fit there for Vulcan as well, if they do want to try and play like maybe double range into the Ezreal lane, which is something we've seen both with Ezreal and against him. Or it could be a switch off to Lulu.
So also, Perks has done the 0-7. He's also done the 7-0, but has he done the 0-0-7? He's going to collect all 3 phase tree time. If he takes this Lulu mid, it could be swapped, to support there for Vulcan. They could add something like a Kog'Maw here and then round it out with a counter pick there for mid lane by trying to swap around if CLG actually threw down an early pick. But I actually am expecting it to go into his hands. So it'd be very funny, you know, showing he could do it all. Very, very versatile there. On the side of CLG, you know, Ezreal really does pair so well with Leona. No surprises here, trying to get this in before the second round of bans come in from Cloud9. You know, Smoothie and Wild Turtle actually have been quite decent performers here. The Sunlight plus Ezreal combination to be able to get your ult off and make it so much easier to land your skill shots is just tried and true bottom lane for so long.
All right, well, phase 2 bans are coming through. Thresh going to be banned away, so thinking it will indeed be solo lane Lulu somewhere. Also, Lulu pretty good alongside Gwen and Xin, kind of powering up 2 different good melee carries, so kind of like what C9 are doing already. I also think like Broxah did do quite well on Lee Sin yesterday as well, so certainly a pick that he might be comfortable taking again.
Here's the other thing too for me, with Lulu and the power of Gwen and Xin Zhao, both of which force you to go very close melee range inside Zin's ult or inside Gwen's W, then you're in range for the knockup for the Lulu ultimate. So you're really damned if you do, damned if you don't. It feels like you can't win in some of these situations versus these combos where they just have answers for any sort of area that you want to play. You want to play short, you want to play long. It makes it very difficult. And so you're forced into, can we find, you know, some poke or some pick? And CLG already do have the Ezreal, you know, decent for fishing around for some of that poke damage. But, you know, some of these options banned out for the picks here with the Syndra, which is something CLG used last time around. Pobelter, good, honestly, game-winning stun pick for himself there. One of the longest stuns in the game, the Syndra E combination. So do like that ban there from Cloud9, trying to take away, you know, some of the, any small possibilities for CLG.
All right, well, also Gangplank banned away from Finn. That's one of the things he's played. Actually, a few players have played into Gwen, so going to lose that counter pick there. Looks like Zoe on the menu here for POB, though, which is moving us a little closer.
Exactly as I stated there, looking for the picks in the poke pastry. That's one of the other ones that can actually outrange the Syndra pick. There you go. A Zoe bubble can win it all for you. It's going to be in the hands of a Pobelter here. So now's the moment of truth. Is it going to be a Perks Lulu or is it going to be a Vulcan Lulu? Kog'Maw doesn't give away either one. Would be a strong lane down there as well. But we'll wait for the lock-in here and then see, is it going to be some playmaking for Perks or some playmaking from Vulcan? Either position, there are still options here to get your point-and-click stun. It could be a Nautilus. Right now, hovering over the famous Yone here for Perks. Probably will be the lock in there. Also gives him some extra, you know, attack damage and playmaking from the mid lane. Definitely looking solid from their side.
Yeah, good dive buddy as well. Also, double AD is an angle here with the Lulu, and that is going to be the lock in Tristana once again for Perks. So no Kai'Sa for King, going for Cog instead. Lulu has so many targets. She can make good both melee or range. So C9 with a lot of threats in this comp with kind of a Lulu to tie the room together. Vulcan has to do a lot of work this game with so many different shields he needs to throw on, where he can only really do one at a time.
Yeah, everybody's calling for it, Pastry. What do you do when you have 4 carries on your team?
Karma's so good. You can shield everyone.
Honestly, you know, ability haste here, definitely showing the advantages over the old cooldown reduction that is capped at 40%. Stack as much ability haste as you can, throw out as many shields, speed ups as you possibly can on any of the carries. And this really does put your support play to the test here for Vulcan. He's one of the most highly lauded supports in the LCS, North American talent there for Vulcan. You know, you do have to worry about your cooldowns, whether you're saving them for your backline carry. Kog'Maw, is he under the threat of dive? Is Lee Sin actually going to find an angle here? This is Broxah Lee Sin, you know, one of the champions that is most closely associated with him. So, you know, do you save your Kog'Maw from the Leona plus Lee Sin play, or you're just speeding up Blabber to charge right in there, speeding up Fudge to be aggressive on the front lines?
Yeah, definitely a different like skill set to flex as well, right? Vulcan obviously known for his excellent support play, particularly on his playmaking supports. His Alistar comes to mind, obviously. All his engaged supports are really good. Not that he can't play Enchanters, but it is a different style of champion. It is nice that Cloud9 are showing, again, lots of different diversity in how they want to approach the game, but it will be fun to watch exactly how all the pieces fall into place. Whereas for CLG, feels like they're sticking to comfort. Again, it is tough for them in the standings right now, given their current record. It did carry through from spring, as all summer will count. But we'll see what they can do. It is going to be an upset if they take the win here, but if I've learned anything so far in a week and a half, not even, of play, Kobe. Anything is possible in the LCS these days.
Yeah, I'm honestly also really excited to see Fudge on the Gwen, because Fudge picked up the top Lee Sin so quickly at MSI. And yes, he did have really strong Lee Sin resources to pull from on his team. Blabber plays a ton, Perks even played a ton. So both those guys helping him out very quickly to adapt to it. But now with his hands on Gwen, does have the classic Ignite here. You like to go for a lot of early all-in options with Gwen because your E is so powerful just at the level 1. See about Finn with this Volibear. Grass Volibear, though, has been, in the past, so good at neutralizing a lot of very aggressive top lane matchups. So I'm very curious, actually, to see if he can go toe-to-toe with it, because CLG, last time around they gave over Gwen, they did not fare very well versus it, and this is going to be a round 2. He's actually chosen Volibear this time around, and Lee Sin definitely does put a little bit more, you know, thought in the back of your head, especially as a top laner with all of the routes that he can get there. So I like the ward as well in Baron Pit from CLG, watching, you know, for that tricky level 1 just to make sure there was no extra, you know, invade there from Cloud9 to get any info on where Lee Sin is starting. Will just be the red buff starts for both of them, though. Generally, a lot of these, you know, early playmaking jungles will start with their red buffs. The more powerful of the two, going to have opposite sides starts for them as well.
Also of note, Ignite for Fudge. He's actually one of only 2 Ignites in the game. The other one is in the hands of Smoothie. It is cleanse for both marksmen, actually, on the Cloud9 side, with Vulcan taking the heal in there too. And Broxah even using the ward. For a bit of extra pressure.
Here's my answer to Gwen. You want to go level 1 aggression with Ignite? Then go level 2 gank from the jungle!
All right, well, Fudge now knows what's up. You have no flash. I don't think there's any way for Fudge to get away. Indeed, there isn't. It is first blood for Broxah. Beautiful.
Broxah, Lee Sin, pastry time. All right, let's get to see Blabber here on the teleport here. Is it? Oh, the recall does finish.
Oh, Finn! Just Gwen pops out of almost nowhere and Fudge gets the counter kill.
Oh my goodness. I can level 2 gank as well. Pastry time. Honestly, it's so hilarious. Xin Zhao, obviously, also with the red buff start, as we stated, known for level 2 ganks. And Blabber says, you can do that. I'll get right back up there too. Fudge back on top. They get the response skill, and it actually is kill credit on that one to Fudge. Whereas Finn just got the assist for the earlier one. Also able to push back in the wave immediately. So no disaster there on the top side for the level 2. But I do like, you know, Broxah with the attempt at punishing this Ignite top laner. Cloud9, you know, previously when everybody was running Ignite Camille top versus them, Blabber was all about punishing that top side. It's just that CLG's red buff is closer. Blabber was also coming red buff over to level 2 gank, but if you're on red side, Broxah gets to do it quicker. Anyways, we don't see the teleport on screen there for the spectator bug, but you know, they did channel it, so we're well aware, and because of the recall completion, CLG can't fight the 2v2. Probably should have made that call to cancel that recall when you see the teleport coming in for CLG, but they miss out on the opportunity. Will follow it up with some counter jungling of their own as well.
Well, before we forget, don't forget we do have a free Pro View matchup in all of our games across the LCS, and this one's a banger. It's Wildside versus King in the bot lane. Maybe not the most exhilarating matchup this time around, Azure versus Kog'Maw, but definitely are 2 players you should keep your eyes on. Both very skilled, King especially. Maybe not in this matchup, but that man knows his way around a lane phase. As Pobelter and Broxah once again maybe teaming up to gank a different mid laner. It was a Blaze Olive yesterday for CLG. Really successful 2v1 pressure out of CLG in that game, but Perks with the cleanse, with the flash and the rocket jump, avoiding all of that as Broxah bottom side instead now needs to find a Q. Who's he going to land? The puppy in trouble. Face check-in, good ward, and back far enough as well, so King should be okay.
Loving the aggressive look here from Broxah. You know, so often in previous metas, and especially with stuff like the Graves pick, people are always looking for him to be more active in the early games, but goes for the counter jungle on Raptors, down onto the Krugs as well, forces them off a couple of minions on the bottom wave here, and continuing to invade, keep these deeper wards on Blabber, keep track of the C9 main playmaker here for the early stages of the game. Yes, you can continually go back and critique the first 2 plays. you know, level 2 gank, really well executed, but then the discussion on, hey, we just revealed ourselves in this level 2 gank, and as a jungler, do you think Blabber is coming topside to answer that with his own level 2 gank, or is he currently looking to counter jungle you? And so that's what that would be the reasoning for Brox's side on wanting to complete that recall is, hey, I don't want to give up, you know, myself to being counter jungled so heavily, as counter jungling has risen in importance with the changes to the jungle camps. You know, adding a little bit of gold there, increasing their respawn time as well slightly. So. It's not always just the, oh, so obvious, why don't you just stay here for the completion? It's a little bit of tug of war on the decision making. That split second, though, you're always going to want that one back.
Yeah, exactly. You know, go back, definitely have a redo on that one, as it's even in kills and pretty even in gold. CLG actually up a little bit, but they've been feeling pretty comfy in all their lanes. Even Finn just fine, kind of floating the lane after the early kill trades back and forth. But Turtle's been pushing in. Povo has actually been feeling really good in this 1v1 of their perks, is keeping up nicely in CS. But that pressure's going to be there for Zoe for a little bit longer. Ignites down, looking for that point-blank bubble. Ooh, Perks with a good little sidestep does dodge it, but the exhaust is there, and now back into the tower he goes, and Perks, that's almost a solo kill, but Brox is here as well to save the day. Perks going to be forced to flash out as Blabber. He wants the kill, but he can only E to the minion. Pobelter's going to get away.
Oh, Safeguard, thank you, Safeguard. Oh my goodness, what a play from Perks, love it. The Tristana sec attempt from him, even with the exhaust being used by Pobelter, but Broxa in lane first. Broxa Lee Sin has been everywhere thus far for CLG, and honestly, when they're facing Cloud9, and you just like look at this monumental difference in the standings, for them to come out here with you know, some proactive mindset for themselves, trying to attack you know, Cloud9 early and often, getting these deep wards, keeping track of Blabber. Those are the types of things you want to see when you're swinging up there at the team tied for first.
No one is safe, Kobe. Let's just put it that way. As Broxer once again into the top side, it's Fudge who's going to be feeling a touch unsettled.
And you always do want to try and dive early with these volley bears that hit level 6. You know, Finn can turn off the tower. It's a double stacked wave. They want to deny some value here from Fudge.
And now Fudge knows, again, no flash. Nope. Gonna have to dance out of there, skips away, but there's the tower turned off. Finn making it all so easy for Broxer, but oh my goodness, Fudge getting that health back. He's dipping away, he's trying to get out of there. Fudge is almost done, and I think he's gonna get the trade. Indeed he will, as Finn falls.
I was like, oh, I want to count minions for Broxa level 6, because if he has kick, that is so simple. That is just a trivial dive to pull off if he has level 6 for kick. Didn't quite have it there, though. Now Blabber wants to pay.
4v2 bottom side, Perks looking for Turtle. Turtle shifts away, Blabber does not hit the W. But flash away for Turtle as King and Vulcan will take control of these plates instead.
And it is CLG that get the bigger reward, because while Fudge got a counter kill to the tower, taking down you know, Finn there, getting some gold back for himself, he loses out a tremendous amount of experience and the extra gold from the minions on tower. That's why you always go for these dives on the double stacked waves. And Volley Bear does make it happen there, turning it off, allowing Broxer to also get this Rift Herald without further investment from CLG's bottom side of the map. So as far as CLG games have gone, this is definitely you know, one of the better early games for themselves. Broxa still trying to remain active. Blabber a little bit ahead in CS, but wasn't able to get the extra kill on bottom side for them in the counter play. So not a lot of actual value there.
Yeah, 4 players actually from Cloud9 up towards this top side of the map. Obviously the Rift Herald is gone, they know that already. But trying to kick out anyone else who might have been in the jungle, because Fudge has been feeling a lot of pressure lately. Unfortunately for Cloud9, the decision to go for the dive in bottom lane as a response to what was happening in the top side meant that they gave up the opportunity to take this dragon. And CLG living, even though Turtle had to use a flash, feeling pretty good as far as the overall map state is going, as Turtle's going to finish up that Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, it does feel like this is actually one of the rare games where Cloud9 are chasing on tempo a bit. Feels like they're chasing too many plays. And I like that, you know, call out as far as getting there late after the value.
All right,
gone.
well, we don't have time, Code, because Pobelt's in trouble. Portal jump, back you come, and Perks is going to grab the kill.
Well, they shall chase no more, Pastry Time. They got fed up with it. Blabber flash right in there with the Xin Zhao, and they force one on the board. Also, this is a Tristana lane, so that tower will take damage very quickly. Broxa actually, as Lee Sin, you can't even do much to get Perks off the tower. So, explosive shot on the tower, annihilates another cannon wave here. and he should be fairly safe. Still has his own rocket jump and cleanse. Rocket.
Looking for that Q, gonna hit it, but again, no extra follow-up. Just control wards for that play as well. Didn't have a trinket ward, right? Has the Herald Eye, so no extra option there as Brox is gonna take out this ward on the side. Does at least get Perks off the tower. Perks actually didn't even get a plate off of that extra shove, but still a good kill there for C9 to get one back.
Should be pretty good here for Cloud9 if they could, or for CLG if they can rotate Broxa down to bottom side, because 2 turret plates already worked off by Turtle and Smoothie, and as you say, with the Rift Herald in hand, they can really snowball this lead effectively. There it is. It's not going to finish off the tower, but it does take more than 2 plates, and with Turtle continually pushing in this wave, he can get it done.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice here. CLG going to get almost all the plates, going to work on all of them. Of course, this Fudge now getting run down by Finn. This is a pure 1v1.
Ignite
Ulti
on.
pop, Fidge with a good Q. The Ignite is there. That could be the great equalizer or unbalancer here in this situation. But Fudge, the aim not quite through the rest of them as Dragon goes to CLG off the extended play.
Definitely a good snowball there. They transition Turtle's push up to finish off that Dragon. You know, last turret play, yeah, it does remain standing, but the value very quickly for CLG is important in them continuing on this pace. They need to continue on this power curve because Cloud9, they have so many possible threats. You don't want to, you know, let get out of control here. First, Mythic done. Divine Sunderer on the board for Turtle with all that plate money and the Rift Herald being split into his hands. Let's see if he can leave his mark here. Honestly, again, from Champ Select, when we're looking at how can CLG get value without committing to some of these all-in champs like Xin, like Gwen, you know, finding those Mystic shots here, and now it will be empowered. Definitely going to be important, but you have to place your control wards first so you don't get surprised.
Oh, Blabber's actually going in. Perks kind of baiting Finn in there. Doesn't have the ulti either. Damage is good. Still not enough though. Smoothie's going to dive back in. Finn somehow escaped. And now Perk's going to get himself wild growth. The C9 are looking for a kill, but none given by CLG.
CLG actually get out with their lives there. Teleport committed from Fudge in order to make sure this C9 invasion works out. They do get the red buff, but actually a little bit surprised that Finn actually lived there as well. You know, Broxa using his flash, and those are going to be important frontline flashes for CLG. All 3 frontliners did blow them, but no gold given over in the aftermath. The important thing, though, for C9 is what you do after pushing them out of their own jungle. You see the resets there. Tristana pushing on top side, and Blabber hanging around. Looks like they want to get aggressive.
Does mean, though, they are going to lose the battle for the first tower, of course, thanks to the early Herald in the bottom lane, but still, there are plates to be collected. Finn trying to defend up here on the top side, up against Blabber and Perks, but does have Broxa in the back pocket as Turtle just continuing to get further and further ahead on gold. That Sunder already finished. You can see already, yeah, over 1,000 gold ahead of King as he ults down the wave to get this one pushing in even further. And Fudge is busy farming. C9 right now, not too far behind, but to have to, you know, make sure that this lead doesn't get too out of control on the CLG side.
Yeah, because if CLG can rotate up to top side, you know, you took bottom outer turret. Now, if you can transition your Ezreal, Leona up to the top side, finish off these 3 turret plates here, you start to open up the map for these Zoe bubble opportunities from Pobelter and the Ezreal Zoe poke combination that if you find that bubble, if you find that pick, they're actually well equipped to capitalize on it and try and move that down towards Dragon number 2 in 2 minutes. The timing and the power curve is very important for them, though, because you do have to play according to this 2-minute Dragon timer. So if they can commit that, you know, those resources up to the top side and gain the value first, then they'll have a perfect setup.
All right, well, King already has his first item done. It's not a mythic, but he is a Rage Blade, still pretty effective there on the cogs. Under a done for Blabber, Riftmaker done for Fudge, and I imagine Perks will have maybe Gale Force or Shield Bow, depending on where he wants to go. Maybe Kraken Slayer too, obviously. All the options pretty good on Trist when that Dragon does roll around. So C9, again, definitely like not so far behind that they can't come back. CLG have a small lead, but they're trying to hold on to it and extend it as best they can. But C9, as always, posturing aggressively as Blabber a little too far forward. Perhaps no King. He's trying to pop off here, but Blabber pops the ulti with the Lulu ult on top. He's going to live for now, but Finn now looking to chase him down. That big Ezreal ulti almost found enough damage, but Blabber will escape.
Look at that. You know, a bubble lands and you get so much, but we see the strength of pairing Lulu with stuff like the Xin Zhao, with the Zoe. Even with that, very dangerous position there. Xinzao ultimate, Lulu ultimate, Blabber at least stays alive for Cloud9. CLG still get another objective for themselves, though, and they continue the domino effect. Pastry time.
Yeah, it feels like it's trouble here, Kobe. CLG still extending that lead further and further, as the question to my earlier perks item is indeed Kraken Slayer, so going to be the other DPS threat here. In fact, C9 should feel very comfy as the game goes later, as long as they have time to free fire onto targets. Whether they're allowed to do that before getting poked down, Volibear and Lee Sin jumping on top of them is a different story entirely. But standing DPS looks real good on the Cloud9 side come mid to late.
Yeah, their DPS will definitely be off the charts. It's just, can they get the chance to use it? Good defensive bubble here.
Good
actually
cleanse.
Actually gets the cleanse out. Yes, it's a low cooldown, but always important to look at these opportunities here for CLG, because Broxah right now rotating around mid, trying to get some of these flank wards in. In reminder, Pastry, that Dragon Timer is already up, 7 seconds left. And neither of the top lane players have teleport, so Perks and Pobelter both walking down already.
Yeah, Pobelter could have it, but I believe that's his main summoner spell. Does have swap to exhaust right now in the spellbook. Always good to keep track of, especially as objectives come up later and later in the game. Also has a cleanse he picked up from Perks, so going to be maybe using that one as well. Blabber hitting some damage, but now he goes back in, and Blabber, who's feeling it, gets exhausted though, and now Fudge looking for the angle. That's a good ulti there. Smoothie going to be the first target. Leona almost getting ripped to threads, but not enough just yet, as C9 still looking on the offensive.
Very good health lead now for Cloud9. Blabber not hesitating. That's what you have to do against the poke comp. Don't give them any time to get early damage on you. And with that health lead, that might be enough for Cloud9 to actually just take this dragon. They're forcing CLG out of the river, take down their vision. Should be a solid play here. Broxah fishing around. That would be very risky if he went in there.
Yeah, drop the Herald instead. Try and counter push mid. Look to see what you can get. C9 have to go the long way back around, so mid Outer is absolutely dead. Perhaps the tier 2 is in trouble as well, though, as CLG will likely push through.
With that Riptail, they can make it 2 Pastry time. Double it.
See what they can. Double or nothing indeed does work. Easy stuff there for CLG, so perfectly acceptable trade for Cloud9's first dragon of the game. And with the Ocean Drake falling, it will reveal Cloud Soul, and Rift as the choice for this game. Is Perks looking like he wants to jump in on someone once again. Didn't work out so well against the Zoe Turtle, also pretty slippery.
I wonder too, you know, because the pace of this game has been so quick, can Cloud9 actually afford someone to invest in healing cutting here? Because they do have the 1 Ignite from Fudge, but you're looking across at double Divine Thunders, plus the Gore Drinker there on the Lee Sin. So it is going to be a decent amount of healing, and this is a very heavy DPS team from Cloud9. So maybe they just say, hey, you know, we just have to DPS them down, look for the full kill, and the you know, the healing is just going to be there for a while, because they really need to peak as quickly as possible. Already level 11 here for Wild Turtle. Looks like he should be able to complete at the very least Manamune on the return and get to that very quick and notorious Ezreal 2-item power spike. There it is. It's already transformed as well. Wild Turtle's going to be a monster. 2-item Ezreal with Muramana transformed has the possibilities here of creating another big upset win for CLG.
All right, well, Cloud9 were trying to push there in mid, but deflected pretty quickly. And again, not sticking around too much longer to find out where the rest of CLG are, which is good. It's nice that Cloud9 are showing some respect. You have to be careful given, you know, how many items and what kind of lead CLG are already building. They're up about 2,000 gold, feeling pretty comfy, as Perks is going to continue to farm up the side lanes here. But again, it is mostly about patience here for Cloud9. You did say that they don't want to fall too far behind, and they do need to itemize as that way as a result. But they're also not rushing into fights right now. They know that their carries will get stronger the longer this game goes. I mean, Gwen's not even at 2 items yet, Kobe. So.
And again, this Cloud9 team scales super well because they have so many damage threats. And then as far as navigating team fights, because of the nature of avoidance of both Xin and Gwen, you know, with the W, with the ultimate, and because of the Lulu ultimate, if you have enough money on this team, then your tankiness problems also kind of get washed away because of that offensive threat and playing off those cooldowns that actually open up the same space that a traditional tank that would soak damage would do.
Perks has just found an angle everywhere, it seems like. Turtle's actually going to be forced to flash away, so nice little maneuver there for Cloud9 to punish Turtle for pushing a bit too far, but CLG just slow and steady here. Pobelta's pushing a side lane. He's going to get this tower finished or close to finished, but again, doesn't overextend himself here. Finn's just fine in the side lane as the rest of CLG will reinforce top side, and this is a very clean game right now for CLG. They've got an early lead, and they've actually slowly been building on it.
That is number 3 for all the outer towers as well. Now you get so paranoid about keeping up your wards, because at this stage, before Cloud9 have all this extra money, yes, they have tons of DPS, but everybody is a viable kill target, for the side of CLG. So that sleepy trouble bubble is very, very troublesome indeed. Everybody can capitalize on it. And definitely be wary of the burst. Perk's going to look to jump in on Pobelta, though.
Yeah, Perks is the new jungler or something. Cleanses off the bubble. Pobelta in the alcove. Blabber also reinforcing. I don't think there's any way Pobelta gets out of here, so it's just going to be a kill. Who's going to get it, though? Give it to Perks. Blabber going to take it for his trouble in the top lane.
The benefits of, Vulcan being able to pair with literally any carry on this team, as whoever he's with is the duo lane. Whoever he's with is the carry at the time. Perks gets the honors there, and Cloud9 will get a tower back on top of it for themselves. So there's all that gold that they really do need to accumulate to fund their war effort here. Keep your eyes on Vulcan. Whoever he's next to gets to be the big threat and gets to move offensively.
Yeah, King didn't see him. What a kick from Broxy. Just barely stuck around the vision. The ulti attempt was there for King, but he didn't pick the right spot.
And that is 22 seconds before the Dragon pastry time. So this death timer overlaps with the Dragon. It's basically going to be forfeit. CLG pinging on Baron already. It might be risky. They actually have Volibear is very good at tanking Baron because of the sustain with your W, with your shield, and the overlap. So they don't have to take a lot of damage in order to try and force Cloud9 into this small corridor.
Vision here for CLG is actually so good as well. Pobelta has so much free space to poke. Gonna get spotted here. Fudge is gonna try and find him, but now Pobelta flashes into the wall. We ulti over the wall as Turtle is gonna take down Fudge, and Volibear descends upon Perks to take him out as well.
And it's a revitalized CLG pastry time. They come out swinging versus Cloud9. From the opening of this game, Broxa level 2 gank, then he's down bottom ganking, then he's mid lane saving Pobelta. This is a new CLG. They're completely proactive, looking for positive plays constantly. Can they catch Cloud9 here on the Dragon? It burns down really quickly.
This looks dicey on the C9 side. They will get the Dragon, but Blabber just has to flush out of there. Pobelta looking for the bubble, finds an easy one through terrain. And now Broxa, what a flank.
He's got kick.
TP in, they're going to try and save the rest of Cloud9 here, but Broxa just going to bide his time. CLG over the wall, Broxa looking for the kick, finds King, perfect target. He's going to flash away there, but C9 are reinforcing. Now still 4v4, but Turtle's so low. I don't think CLG can chase, but hey, they already got what they wanted. No need to overextend.
Oh, it's such a fun one when you see those possible highlight plays in your eyes. Not going to be able to make it count here, though. Cloud9 do fight their way back to their own base, and they can take a breather here. But CLG are able to snowball. They just pry open this giant lead. Yes, Cloud9 take the Dragon, but CLG weren't really stacking very quickly towards the Dragon Soul for themselves anyway. And now with the Baron buff, you get to really embrace the strengths of the Zoe Ezreal. They can push out the lanes, and then you get to fire off your skill shots as Cloud9 have a lot less room to dodge because they're inherently trying to defend these towers. Less terrain to traverse here. They're trying to scramble and pick up their own jungle before CLG close in with the pressure. But as long as CLG don't make themselves vulnerable to a pick, it should be some guaranteed value with Baron here. When you have the range advantage like that, it's some of the most guaranteed Baron pushes, Baron power plays that you can have in this game. And you see C9 just giving it up here. You have to cede territory lest you get hit with some of these very deadly poke combinations.
Yeah, Zoe Ezreal with Baron is like pretty filthy as far as sieging goes. This Fudge just looking for some counterplay here on the bottom side of the map. He's going to take this tower. At least that minion stays alive just long enough, but the base, the rest of it's in a bit of trouble here as Perks, just eats the bubble. Going to be forced to bounce away with the rocket jump, but Ezreal ulti does so much work on top of it. And now C9 are going in. Pobelta's the target. King's unleashed with 2 items, but it's just not enough. They can't get close enough. Oh, Pobelta, one more. Dodges it, what a little sidestep. Another one there as Pobelta just barely gets himself out of there. That is some experienced movement there for POB as Broxa breaks through mid as well.
Oh, you love seeing it too, because the artillery is trying to force him to walk forward, being the only way to dodge out, so that you would theoretically have a frontline threat on him, but Pobelter walks the line. Blabber can't step up for far enough to actually punish it there, and he walks away. So CLG, they do get that value out of the Baron. Push. Now the door is open to the Cloud9 base, but no inhibitor falls. That is quite critical for them as far as the continued pressure here. And again, Cloud9 still trying to power farm here.
Fair.
Get a couple extra items. They have very high damage potential for a turnaround, but you have to make the engage count. Here's another look. Pobelter does have the Zhonya, so he dodges out. Well, that artillery was a little bit far. He dodges out on the third and fourth one.
Stop juke.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
You can see he just can't get any closer because Blabber W would be the death there, but is able to force him off. Turtle trying to also gain some range for him there. The Ezreal playing frontline with the red buff. That's why the Cloud9 frontline can't move up further and threaten Pobelter. Definitely a scary one playing the line there, but it does work out for CLG.
Real nice there from POB. But the reason I said Finn's name before we hit that replay, Kobe, is he's a Chrono Bear. That's a Zonya's Hourglass second. Yeah, and we've actually seen this quite frequently here in the new season because they did buff Volibear's AP ratios. AP is not troll on this champion, and Zonya's as a frontliner, it has obvious value. Right.
So it's actually become decently popular in solo queue and a couple times already in pro play. So you get a lot bigger moments because you have some harder hitting abilities in addition to having those big Zhonya's plays to buy you time, which is very important when you're facing a team like C9 that are all damage. A couple seconds of Zhonya's can mean the difference between life and death for a frontliner.
And we've seen it even just a little bit where POB almost died to the initial onslaught, right? The amount of damage, if C9 can get in range, is absolutely filthy if Tristan Cog can just unleash upon a target. But CLG have been playing the fights really well, using their range advantage, engaging when it matters, right? So that C9 don't have time to set up. And of course, getting themselves this gold lead, right? They're 5,000 gold ahead and counting. Not even done shoving here as they're going to look to take down the bottom tier 2 as well.
All right, this one's going to go down without a fight because look at your mini-map. Tristana is split pushing away there for Cloud9. They've already made the call. You know we are not fighting a secondary turret. There are way more valuable objectives on the map. I like that call. There's no pretense about it. Everybody knows this is a handshake. Perks doesn't have teleport though, so you know they're also going to be seeding this Drake. Completely commit to the little bit of extra value they can get from the split push. A little bit more money here on the Tristana.
Perks, unfortunately for him, also can't stay there, right? Because he doesn't know what else is happening. CLG back away. They take that dragon. No need to leave everyone there, though. So Perks has to back off from the tier 2 that he could have taken very easily, but just didn't have the free time or the knowledge, unlike we have, to be able to shoot it. Does have a third item, though. That's a pretty big difference as he's finished Lord Dominic's regards. Both these carries, again, they only get better as the game goes longer, Kobe. Now it's 3 items for the Trist.
Yeah, they're going to do plenty of damage, but you went over the Zhonyas on Finn. There's also just an individual stopwatch purchased by Broxa. I always love buying, 25-plus minute stopwatches for the value of a team fight, especially for a champion like Lee Sin, because you can stopwatch into Gore Drinker as people kind of clump up on stopwatch bodies usually to try and finish you. Then Gore Drinker as you come out, big surprise plays, makes you more confident in going for these big Lee Sin kicks as well on the carries. So you have to watch out for these stasis opportunities. Smoothie's got one, Broxa has one, and meanwhile, Ezreal inherently tanky with these new builds. The Frozen Heart was picked up, Divine Sunder, so it's also hard to take down those carries, and it has to be really, really big play from combining Gwen and Xin Zhao's denial of range damage to find an opening for Cloud9.
Yeah, Turtle is massive. His 4 items finished already. So he's tanky, he does damage, he's pokey, he slows you when he hits you, he heals forever, you can't kill him.
Another
You're
bubble.
getting put to sleep by Zoe. This is so frustrating here as Blabber forced to ulti just to not get killed by the incoming poke of CLG as Perks. That's a very good pick maybe on Finn, but he ultis out to safety. And Blabber, oh, he just eats it again.
There's no answer for this one.
They're going back. Yeah, Blabber's just going to, again, have to be shielded and walk back, but has way less health now. The Sterix's poppers in. This is not a battle of attrition. Cloud9 can win.
These are small health bar advantages. If it wasn't for Perks chunking out Finn there and forcing his back, that would have been a much harder follow-up from CLG. They would have committed to that second bubble because after Xin Zhao ultimate is burned there, Blabber much more vulnerable. Now the Sterix went on cooldown as well. They forced them out of the Baron. This is full vision control around Baron for the team that wants you to walk into them, that dares you to walk in to more of this poke and these Sleepy Trouble bubbles. Great vision toggle here from the observers, showing how difficult it is for Cloud9.
Can't even get through Pobelta, and the Baron's dead, I imagine, at this point. It's going to be very close. If not, Cloud9 going to walk in. No, it's actually not that low. Smoothie now going to be in the front line, but he goes into stopwatch. Such a clutch purchase. Perk, he's taking down POB. How did you live, Fudge? He's still diving in. Blabber looking to pop off there as he takes down the low Smoothie, and the rest of Cloud9 descend. Broxer and Turtle low, but they need to grab these kills. Blabber looks to die, but it's one too far as Turtle takes him out.
The damage from Perks there, insane as he gets 1 second left alone with Pobelter and they burn him down.
Whoa! They're charging in here. Finn gonna go into stopwatch again. Oh, he's got two! He's buying so much time. King's got no mana, no health as Finn. He's gonna go in, but King's able to take him down as Fudge goes into stasis. Alrighty then, as Cloud9 get away with an extra.
I mean, it looks kind of cool, and you know, you get your name in highlights there with the double poses, but you don't actually accomplish anything, Pastry Time. Nothing really accomplished there because there was no possibility of DPS to follow up from CLG, so they actually just lose out on more cooldowns and another death. Meanwhile, here's the look. CLG a little bit split on this Baron. You have to be so much more well-coordinated. Perks just annihilates Pobelter there, cleanses and rocket jumps out just in the face of two members of CLG, shrugs them off, takes him down, and then Cloud9, you have to all in versus these teams because the range advantage for CLG, they'll just pelt you with more and more damage. And so the key is no hesitation there. Really big play from the big leader there from Cloud9. Finn goes in, uses his first stopwatch, but again, because Gwen has a W down, you know, yeah, Turtle's throwing out a couple of Mystic shots here, but there's no real opening created by the Volibear stopwatches, and then Finn also has his own, so we're just trading stasis moments. Everybody take a picture. Yeah. It's gonna last a while.
All right, we can see the damage contribution there for Turtle massive there in that fight. Finn also doing a lot of work, but 3K for 3 different people on Cloud9 tells you a lot about how much damage they can do if the fight goes their way. That's the thing, right? Have to actually get close enough to the targets to hit them for long enough for them to actually die before Zoe and Ezreal kills everyone on your team from 2 screens away. CLG, that gold lead is shrinking, not what you want to see on their side. Only ahead 3,000 now. We're going to reset things, look for the third dragon on either side in 3 seconds. And the Baron's also still up, Kobe, as Blabber's trying to get the vision finally cleaned out of this river. But Blabber and Broxer going to meet here. Pobelta with the bubble after the alley-oop kick. And that's such a good pick there, but he pops the ulti, but it's just not enough. Turtle, he's on a rampage.
And that's going to be Dragon number 3 for Cloud9, but because of the pick, no jungler for C9, and that'll be a CLG Baron. Baron number 2 for themselves. Broxa finds Blabber, kicks him into the team, and that's going to be Baron number 2 for the Siege comp coming straight for these inhibitors. 24 seconds left on Blabber, so CLG actually opt not to reset off of this Baron. They're not spending any extra gold. They want to make this push in the next 15 seconds while Blabber is still dead.
Also, Blabber has a stopwatch now. He's learning from all of the stages that's happening here. As Perk's very threatening there, getting enchanted up by the Lulu. Looking to try and step forward and do some damage, but they have to clear the waves first. Perk's here. Look at the angle he's taking. So aggressive. He's just trying to shoot one of these carries, but can't eat the poke either. C9 have a very dangerous line to trade here, trying to defend their base.
They certainly do. And again, CLG, time is in their favor. The more time, that means more cooldowns for Zoe bubbles and fallout from Wild Turtle Ultimate. You see that there, just with the Muramon and extra damage on abilities, the ultimate, just half health on Perks, even without setup. And CLG will take inhibitor number 1 down mid lane. Now that, you know, Blabber's back up, though, they're going to opt to get those resets we talked about, spend that gold before returning to finish the job.
Steal the red buff. CLG going to go back and spend their money. Turtle's actually going to keep jungling. Why not? Just get some extra gold for yourself here. Both Broxah and Turtle looking so good in this game. Turtle's just unkilled. I mean, how do you kill this Ezreal, right? It's just so annoying.
He certainly is. You got to jump on him. You got to surprise them. Maybe, you know, some control wards placed in their own jungle here, looking for some misplays from CLG. That is always a good look. They've got plenty of damage, so, you know, if there is a poor rush check or somebody is led astray through a Cloud9 trap, you can definitely take somebody out extremely quickly. I do want to widen the conversation, though, and pull this back a bit, because it means so much for this CLG team that coming into summer, one of the biggest things for them was building upon the fact that they actually have Broxah and Finn here from the very beginning, and Pobelter starting the whole time. This is one of the biggest things that, you know, people were going over with the team all spring, having to make so many changes constantly throughout the split caused them to have so many close but not quite there games. And now, does seem like they're pulling it a bit together. Teleport from Cloud9.
Oh, such good bubbles from POB. But here comes Fudge around the backside. That's going to be the problem. And now C9 are going in again. They've got the damage. If they can get on the targets, that's 2 already on the Cloud9 side as Finn is low. Going to go golden as Brox is just trying to run interference. Maybe finish up the end here, but it looks a little dicey as Perkz has already found himself a triple kill. It's 1 left
a ward
for the ace here as Brox should be able to get away, but Cloud9 with a very clean-looking defense.
I like the call from Broxah not to give up his life in order to kill that inhibitor, because he does have Baron empowered recall. So maybe Baron buff, he can buy enough time. This is 20 seconds left on Smoothie, 30 seconds on most of the rest of the CLG members. Cloud9 are going to put that timer to the test because secondary turrets are still standing. I don't think they can make the run all the way inside to the Nexus, but they can definitely do some damage. And Pastry, for a good 15 minutes, as we caution against the damage possibilities here, the output possible from this Cloud9 lineup. They got the flank. Fudge teleports in behind CLG. You just don't give them any time to react, and you strike so quickly. They take down CLG. They get some gold back for themselves. They keep this game interesting. Here's another look at it. It is a great flank, and you know that as Gwen, because you have your W, even though it looks dangerous, he gets alone time. They chunk down Pobelter. Perkz then jumps in. Perkz immediately gets the reset off of Pobelter. Nice confidence in his own damage output and the ulti there to get the reset, and they just destroy CLG in an instant because they have so many threats here. And now with all the extra money they got out of it, you see a QSS picked up here on Perkz. They actually have an answer to at least one of the bubbles.
Yeah, double cleanse as well again between the two marksmen. King with 4 items, Perkz with 4 items, plus the QSS that you mentioned. Dragon Soul up in 35 seconds. It's Fudge that's maybe caught out here. No flash again, remember, kicked over to his team, but that's not far enough. It's Finn that's going to go ahead and grab that kill, but Blabber is going in, and Smoothie gets melted by King and Perkz.
These Qs from Turtle are hitting hard, so you have to be careful here. King takes one, but they're healing back up off the minion wave.
No ulti either. King does get his health back to normal as the wild growth wears off. Is this a trade instead? No, there's no Baron to trade for. It's up in a minute 20. CLG might just get this one here, but it's not their soul. It's just the 6th dragon of the game.
Yeah, we're going to get another 6th dragon game here, Pastry. Back-to-back in the LCS, baby. We go late game, and we like it. CLG will get number 3 for themselves. Another Cloud racked up. Here's the flank from Broxah, though. Even though that wall is slightly large enough so that, you know, the Gwen does go through. Some follow-up flash there from Smoothie. A viable trade here, trading your Leona life for the life of the Gwen to follow up with the stun and ensure that you get that, but no real ground gain because of the timers here on the objectives. You know, Broxah Lee Sin just hits different, okay? CLG, eyes wide open here. We have to say, from minute 1 here, level 2 gank on the top side, throughout the game, continuing to hit these big playmaking abilities. Let's see if they can actually bring it home, though, because Cloud9 now have the money to fund this very offensive composition, and it's about playing around your small cooldowns here. Zhonya's active is available. Guardian Angel is up here for Broxah, though. He has completed it, so you have to watch out with these bubbles.
This is so tense here. CLG edging close to that next Baron. It's up in 3 seconds. We'll have the Soul as good. Oh my god, Perkz! He's unleashing on POB. King actually found the artillery this time. C9 just have too much damage. Finn just dead. Perks is going in so deep. He busts the shots away. Gets himself wild growth. Smoothie's going to melt here. Nobody can stop the C9 offensive, Kobe.
Level 18 Tristana. There's your range. Pastry buffed up by that Tristana. Perks is branded. Frontline Trist right into the heart of CLG, and Cloud9 will answer.
What a comeback here. It's not over yet, but King is looking for Turtle, but no, don't face check the Ezreal, buddy. As Turtle shows him what's what. So much damage still out of Easy. And CLG going to keep this game going. We're not even close to finishing, it feels like.
Hell yeah, let's keep it going. That was pretty hilarious to see King, little baby Kog'Maw there. Not quite that of the offensive prowess of Perks, but Cloud9 do have a fallback pattern here. Baron will melt. Broxa does have flash. Can he get the steal?
Oh, Broxa! Oh, that'd be a career moment there for Broxa. One of many there as the steal does not come through, unfortunately, for CLG. It is Cloud9 that just barely get that Baron, but again, just watch the Cloud9 comp go. The Juggernaut is here.
Yeah, I mean, you put all this Lulu speed and speed up on Perks here with the shield. Level 18 Tristana has finally had enough time to scale up that range, baby. Jumps in on Finn as well, chunks them both back. Nice ultimate for the disengage there as well. And you can see Vulcan just gets to pick and choose which carry you want. Guess what? It's the full item build Tristana level 18. Yeah, that's a good choice there. Putting all of your effort there into Perks, and one-man army on the front line, buffed up by the Lulu. See if Cloud9 can now finish it off. Wearing purple here. Do have 2 minutes left until Dragon, so nothing to pull them away from the siege.
You know what's funny? I feel like King knows that his support has left him for a different AD carry. You know, he's got Spirit of Bizarre, he's got Guardian Angel. He knows he's not the one getting wild growth in these team fights.
King got a freaking Spirit. You're like, you have a defensive item. Get out of here. I'm putting all my buffs onto the full.
He knows he's not getting shielded.
All right, let's take a look at it. Flank does come in from Finn.
Ooh, not
the problem with Volibear, though, is late game, you only have a single target stun. So it's a very difficult champion to really have a big impact on late into the game.
Oh, not yet. All right, well, Cloud9 trying to push. Parents are up for a minute 20. Finn is still in this like very deep solo stealth mission. Back through mid here. Is Cloud9 not going to be expecting this one? Ulti does hit King, but he cleanses it up, and here comes Finn. Finally, they are due to send in CLG. Looking for the fight. They take down Fun. They get another King. It's Broxton that's found it, but King's still alive and unleashing hell on the rest of CLG. Perks also there. They grab it there as Toto grabs the shutdown of his own as C9. Still fighting here. The Guardian Angel might be enough for Cloud9, but CLG are descending King. He's so low, but he grabs the kill. And now Broxton going to resurrect and die for the first time ever this game, as Cloud9 had just enough in the tank to win that team fight, grab the ace, and grab the game.
And with the Baron empowered super minion right there, Cloud9 win the last 2v2. Guardian Angel respawn, and it is Blabber and King knocking at the doorstep for CLG. There will be no upset today.
Oh, Cloud9, a very different look than last game, but a win's a win nonetheless, as they take it in the very late game.
Oh, well, definitely an action-packed one, Pastry time. You can see there's so much effort put in by CLG, especially by Broxa on his Lee Sin. They definitely made a good show of it. A lot of openings there, but Cloud9 in the end, finishing it off in a beautiful fashion.
Yeah, going to be feeling a little more tired after this game than perhaps the speed run they did yesterday. That last fight was ridiculous. I thought like Cog passive was going to come into play. That's how many different things and cooldowns and passives got traded to just barely win Cloud9 that fight.
Take a drink. Definitely getting a little hot in here. CLG, that is going to be a rough beat for them, but they're used to rough beats, Pastry. It was all of spring. They had so many of these types of games.
Yeah, I mean, still a good thing that Cloud9 can show, like, CLG, excuse me, can show, like, hey, like, no one's a free win here. Certainly not us, right? That is a great showing up against Cloud9. I love the early game pressure that CLG were able to exert. I love Brux's Lee Sin. I want to see that every game now, I feel like, which probably means teams are going to start banning it because they don't want to see it, given how good he's been on the champion. And it's just like getting in that kind of late game situation, losing such a close fight, that's not like really your fault, right? It's very hard.
What do you mean? How can it not be your fault?
It's very hard to analyze what went wrong. Like CLG didn't necessarily play like so terribly they threw the game, right? It's a close game against one of the best teams in the league. That is a good thing for CLG.
It is. I mean, talking about the actual fight, it was a very good start for CLG. They're the ones that make the pick, instantly getting these 2 kills on mid lane. They take out the Lulu and the Gwen. So definitely a very good opening. But Tristana, once Perks makes his way over, the damage output here from full item Tristana makes such a difference in fending off everybody, especially after cooldowns had been blown. And Cloud9, yeah, they definitely made good use of it. It was super fun to watch. You know, Vulcan here with the Lulu getting to pick the carry, whichever one fits your fancy at the moment. Most often he actually chose Perks, even towards the mid game. So definitely rewarded there.
That's what you get for having 2 good AD carry players on the team. Get to draft double AD carry, get to play games like that. Cloud9, maybe not the way we expected things to go, but certainly nice to see a different look from them as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was definitely fun. I really, especially in the early game, you could tell there's a bit of this catch-up, you know, feeling for Cloud9. And I think that is credit to CLG and the alacrity with which they got their game plan set in motion. You could tell already the early ward behind back of Baron, Broxa, and CLG, they had this plan. Yes, there's an Ignite top laner. Gwen likes to go offensive early. She's going to try and scale E on me, try and jump immediately in. Let's punish it, get the first kill. You know, maybe even go back to the recall timer slightly, you know, cancel it for a second. Maybe you get there in the 2v2 and it's a little bit different, but it's definitely a fun one and a learning experience.
Yeah, definitely a lot to analyze there, perhaps on both sides. But for now, we are going to be joining Dash on stage with Vulcan for our Horizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, gents. Here alongside Vulcan. Vulcan, a 2-0 so far on the week. Much better performance, it seems, than week 1. I know we talked to a couple of your teammates coming out of week 1, and there was a bit of a citation that a lack of practice or less practice meant that we were coming into the split rusty with the meta and everything. But even between yesterday and today, kind of the tale of 2 very different games. Perfect gaming yesterday against FlyQuest. CLG made you work for it a little bit more. What do you think was the difference maker today?
I kind of think that today we had a draft where we're kind of the back foot early game and we have to play defensive, wait for our items on COG and Tristana, and then we kind of get more control as the game goes on because we'll be winning team fights no matter what after a certain point, right? And it's kind of up to CLG to make plays and try to snowball the game. And they were able to catch us off a few times, and that was mostly our mistakes, right? It was definitely like on us to get caught, and it did happen. Those few mistakes happened, and then the game was very hard. But I think it was good composure from us to be able to come back and sit in our base and stall and just wait for the one fight that we can turn around the game, and it feels good to do that.
Absolutely. And taking a look at kind of the different drafts that not only your team has pulled out across days, but a lot of the teams within the league have pulled off, there does seem to be a pretty big emphasis right now on flexibility and creativity within the draft. Do you feel like that is going to be the mark of the top teams here in the summer split?
My opinion is kind of that those champions that are able to be flex are broken.
Okay.
Like Viego, Lee Sin, even Gwen, they're like very, very strong champs right now, and the fact that they're able to be flex just makes them that little bit stronger. And if they weren't so strong, then I don't know if flex picks would be that valuable or as valuable. For sure, like there's value in having flex picks no matter what, right? But I think it's mostly because these champs are a bit overtuned. But yeah, so it's just like very OP to grab them early and then be able to flex them anywhere. It makes the draft very hard for the enemy team.
Gotcha. Now, from your personal perspective as a support, I have a general curiosity, and I think the sentiment is shared between a few other members on the broadcast team. As people may be aware, Hex Flash disabled currently. And we see supports jumping to things like the Soraka, the Lulu, and whatnot, whereas the Engage supports seem to kind of reign supreme through spring and even through international play. Is that kind of move towards the Enchanter supports pushed even more by the lack of Hex Flash, or do you feel like that's the way it'd be going anyway right now?
I think the biggest thing is with the Shirelia changes, where any spell they use on a teammate will just give them a little bit of movement speed. That's like very OP. So it feels like any enchanter right now builds that, and they become like instantly very strong. And part of the reason why the early game was pretty hard for us is because I took a very long time to get Shirelles, and then I'm like pretty useless before I have that. So once I have that, I feel like much better. But for sure, I think X-Flash being disabled just makes it a little bit harder for the Leona side or like the playmaking side to find those picks and find those plays. So it's just like a little something that helps the Enchanter side a little bit more.
Sweet. And finally, last question for you is, as you are kind of making this shift back towards some Enchanter supports, you are also having to make a shift in working with a different bot laner. You've got King. Just real quick, your thoughts on his performance through week 1, week 2 as one of the youngest new players here on the LCS stage?
I think he's been doing very well to like jump into a team of, we're kind of almost all veterans at this point. We all have like very strong opinions about the game. It's for sure not easy to be like the new guy jumping into the team and trying to fit in, but I think he's been doing a very good job at voicing his opinion, making sure that we're all on the same page. We talk about balling matchups after scrims, like individually, we'll talk one-on-one. So I think he's been doing very, very well, and I think it's showing on this stage as well.
Awesome. Well, 2-0 week definitely speaks to that. We'll see what you guys can do out there tomorrow. But once again, congratulations on the victory here today. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, from here, we're throwing to a break. When we come back, it's Immortals versus Dignitas to close the day. We'll see you soon.
I didn't order a pizza.
I know, but that Parker promo saved me so much on my insurance. Brought you a little something special.
Parker, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
You're the man, man.
And you want the real deal? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.